Hi guys, I'm Nicolas Jurnjack, 35 years of studio, fashion, blah blah blah, from Paris, here in Moscow. I have to confess that what we did here in Russia was actually out of boundaries, far out. It was like so much creativity, and I was so surprised about the talent, especially the talent. I was expecting to run from A to Z, the wall scenario, and I saw hairstylist, makeup, colorist. They were like amazing, very excited and very determined to do good. Not just good, real good. I will say that globally, in my opinion, if they had to pick up one category from punky, messy, groovy, glamour, grungy, chic, ultra chic, red carpet, they mainly all love very much the glam. They like to make the girl looking attractive. They like to make the girl looking not sexy, because sexy is a bit cheap. Glam, yeah. But I have something to say, like Russia has a huge culture, not less than China, not less than France, not less than so many places in the world. In Russia, there is a real culture. It's my second time here, and I read also in French all the big Russian big writers of 1800, early 1900. There is a real culture here. You guys having a highway to exploit and to talk about, because there is a real fingerprint culture in Russia. So, about Russian women, I have to say when I'm jumping in the cab, like here every day, have to say that my head's looking left, right, up, down, up, all the time. There is a mix of bloods who create this kind of unique beauty. You can find so many kind of beauties, but Russian women are extremely beautiful and attractive, especially the eyes. There is something in the body attitude who are like amazing. I do know they are beautiful, but not easy to deal with. When I look back and using my experience to talk about the upcoming ones, anybody can make it big if they really want to. The only problem is, like, if you think it's going to be difficult, you have to think that it's going to be extremely difficult, not just difficult. It's day and night. It's a life of sacrifice. It's a life where most of the time kids doesn't work, waiting doesn't work. If you got a lady that you love so much, you may expect to disappear 2-3 years on be there time to time. It's hard to get a relationship. It's hard to set up something stable in your life, because when the train leaves the station with fashion, soon as you get off the train, you may have a hard time to jump in again. So anybody can do it, because myself, I was not destined to hair. My idea was to do something else in life. I end up in the hair by accident, if I can say. But I realized very quick that you need a patience and you need a lot of emotion for this kind of work. Hair, feelings, emotion, sensitivity, affection for the girls. You need to be very stable, and you need to constantly work your creativity. In the fashion, you can be star only for 1 month. But if you want to stay 35 years, you're going to have to be a star every month. Something needs to come out, a show, a fashion week, an editorial, or big campaign, a beauty story, a hair story, cutting a famous model hair. In the fashion, nothing is win from start. Every month you're gonna have to re-edit your success, and on and on and on and on. So it's accessible for anybody. Russians, the people I met here seems to be very determined about what they want to do, because it's also the culture to be like that in Russia. In France, there will be like, maybe, you know. In Russia, it's black or white. It's not light gray or maybe dark gray, or maybe finally gray light. It's not that. In Russia, when they tell you, I go for it, they go for it. And I think this guy, when they're gonna cross the ocean, they will make it big. I think it's like people like me, they have the benefit of their experience and their histories. So for sure, when you come on the shooting, when people request you, people, they expect from you that you're gonna bring something. So it's not really a fight for our generation. It's going to be a fight for the upcoming one. And about the digital, I think digital, yes, okay, fine. Digital has its place. Artificial intelligence, all that's gonna be okay. But you still need someone with an eyes. People still need an object, like a magazine, to flip the page. Some people, they love to have that at home and touch the paper, which is something in life. It's a material, you know? So digital is fantastic, but there is so many people at the moment who goes back on real film like in the old time, because they got the feeling that they lost the reality. It gets too easy, and you cannot even give your real emotion as a photographer, as a makeup. I mean, there is a big deal in digital at the moment. I mean, it works for everyone. Yes, thank you. Fantastic, amazing. But it's not just about that. It's like a lot of people like the object, likes to take a minute, flip the page, look, hold it in their arms like an object they earn. They just bought it. So digital, okay. But when you go in the gallery to buy a painting, do you buy it digital? When you buy a print from Helmut Newton, from Jean Lussier, from Avedon, do you buy a digital? No. So there is still a highway for print. And I do believe it may come back. Not 100%, digital will always be there, and it's fantastic. But a lot of people will have a feeling they can touch it, they can earn it. It's just something you flip, you know? It's a different world. Good question. Very good. You know, when I first started my career, I was obsessed by precisions. I was obsessed by details. I could be named maniacal, obsessional about details. And people loved this kind of work for a few years. And then I started to publish in Vogue, in Bazaar, in Elle. I was expecting from the lady of the magazine to ask me something major, but it was about making just a woman beautiful, glam, and attractive, mainstream with something. So what I learned over my big learn in my whole entire career was to be able to go completely crazy, to go completely glam, and to also learn how to do nothing. Just, you know, many times in my life, amazing girl came on the studio and they were expecting a little bit of a style that I'm starting my show, if I could say. And then I was telling the photographer, but look how beautiful she is, just the way she is. She needs nothing. It took me 20 years to learn that less is more. It can be more when it's time to do more, not more all the time. you know? And you have to learn where is the beauty in the model, in someone. You have to learn the lights, because if you do not know the lights, you won't know how to style, you won't know which texture, and you won't know how she looks good. Today, I could take a camera, set up the light, and do all the things all by myself. I don't want to do it. It's not my thing. But if you know lights, you will know how to do hair. Another good question, I have to confess. Every years in my career, I sacrificed 2-3 months of editorial with young guys. That was allowed me to stay focused on what's coming. Sometimes I do recognize I did the wrong choice with young guys. They never make it. Some of them were talented. Some of them, they had no talent at all. 2 years ago, I was still doing that. I always give the chance to all my career to a young guy who was just starting, or a young fashion stylist who was telling me, oh, you know, it's my first bazaar, it's my first L, blah, blah, blah. It will be amazing if you could be there, blah, 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 blah. And I accept, because as you're getting old, the way to stay in touch is to work with youngs. Otherwise, you end up in your golden tower and with your own dreams, your own projection of your kingdom of creativity. And that's the best way to short your life in fashion and in editorial, basically. That's how you short your life. I think all the time you have to try, all the time. And I always did it, always, my entire life, including for Fashion Week, picking up young designers who was telling me, wow, he's never gonna accept to work for us. You know, he's too famous, he's doing Galliano, he's doing McQueen, he's doing Gucci, he's doing blah, 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 blah. And I was always telling my assistant, would you be agreed we take this designer, he has no money? Like, for example, Jeremy Scott in 2000, Olivier Tasquins, all these guys. There were nobody. Second, third, fifth show, no budget, nothing. We were giving them hands, and many others who did big after. Osimar Versolato, Atsuro Tayama, Yoshiki Shinuma, Koji Tatsuno. I mean, a lot of these guys, you know, who there were nothing. We always helped them, always. Asking nothing back. Just to be mixed with another generation and another vision, just to stay fresh. Yes, I did shot today for pose. So let me take the pose for pose already. Otherwise, it's not a pose magazines, you know. Shooting for pose, yes. I had the opportunity to go over the magazine and I could feel something. There is one smell who can tell a lot about the magazine. Positive, happy, joy, super fun. When you flip the pages, sometimes you don't want to laugh because it's not made to laugh, but it's full of life, full of energy, full of hope. I think in this magazine there is nothing funeral, there is nothing dark. There is no message a little bit. There is not a second conversation. What you see is what it is. I very much like that in fashion. And indeed, yes, I was lucky that Mr. V offered me a couple pages to express myself with full freedom. And I thanks very much Mr. V and Mrs. H about that. Thanks so much. We had so much fun. Russian photographer, super. You don't need to say anything. The guy understood everything from scratch, you know. Great assistant, great makeup, fantastic model. Alexandra was amazing. We can say she carried the shoot, because sometimes you feel a limit with a girl, And I do know that with Alexandra, we could go on and on and on. And I don't know how much we shot today, maybe 10, 12, I don't know, a lot. It was a fantastic day, having a lot of fun. And you know what, in my heart, it brings me to back in the pool of creativity, start to swim, try to find things, try to not repeat myself, try to find sometimes stupid things, but it doesn't matter. If it works for the photo, it works for the photo, and that's all matter. And you see, it's a little bit of a surprise. I prefer you guys to discover what it was about. I'm expecting your comments. I will take the good as the bad one, but I do hope there'll be 99.9% of good. Okay, there is two directions. If you got a brief, it's quite interesting. And there is many good things on the brief, I must say. And it's an amazing experience to be free. But when you are free, you have to know the limit of freedom, and you have to learn how to go to the boundary, not past the boundary, because sometimes you can get cheesy or bad taste. And sometimes when you stop too early, then it looks like a flop, like it's not really the good thing. Be working free, it's what I love best, but it's also a bit of a trap, because you have to be careful about your ego, because sometimes hairstylists, they go way too far. They do 3, 4, 5 great look, and then suddenly turn into an exercise of piling up more complicate, and that's the most difficult when you're free. But I have to say, definitely, and to answer Mrs. H. Alan, to answer Ellen, I have to say, Pose give me such a major gift, telling me, okay, go for it, we trust you. We trust you. I know that Mr. V and Mrs. H told me, we trust you. So suddenly I had a bit of a pressure on my shoulders, like feeling, I'm gonna have to deliver. You know, I've been lucky to work with Richard Avedon many times, not a lot, but 6 or 7 times with Avedon. And I learned one thing about him. He was telling the guys, if you have to be in a studio for about 10 or 15 hours, you have 2 ways to live in that studio, in pain or in joy. After, it's about you to choose if you want to bleed or if you want to celebrate. There is no need to bleed. And with Pose today, I have to say, the playlist was fantastic. The vibe was awesome. I have to confess, it was a bit of an Avedon kind of philosophy today. Working for fun and enjoying what you're doing. And thank you, Pose.